What ruined Christmas this year? My family's messy secret. Hi, Reddit. I'm 16, a junior in high school, and this year Christmas was, well, it was a disaster. I'm not even sure why I'm writing this, but maybe putting it all out there will help me figure out what to do next. For context, my family is the type you'd see on a Christmas card. My dad is a big-time businessman, my mom is a socialite who hosts charity events, and we live in a big house that always smells like fresh flowers because we have someone come by every week to arrange them. From the outside, everything looked perfect. But this Christmas, all of that completely fell apart, and now I don't even know what my life is anymore. It all started a couple of weeks before the holiday. I was at school when one of my friends came up to me with this weird look on her face. She asked me if I'd seen the news about my dad. I had no idea what she was talking about, so she showed me her phone. There it was. My dad's name and picture were on the homepage of some local gossip website. The headline said something about him having a secret girlfriend and a secret family. The article said he'd been caught at work, and there were pictures of him with this woman and two little kids at some park. It was also detailed, the woman's name, her position at his company, even how long this had been going on. The article speculated it had been years. At first, I thought it had to be fake. There was no way my dad would have a whole other family. He's always working late or traveling, but that's just because he's a busy person. At least, that's what I told myself. But the more I read, the more I realized it wasn't fake. The pictures were too clear, too real. It was him. I went home that afternoon in a complete daze. I didn't even know how to bring it up to my mom. I thought she'd be devastated. I imagined her yelling or crying or something, but when I finally blurted out, "Have you seen this?" she barely reacted. She just sipped her wine and looked at me like I was the one being dramatic. Then she said she already knew. She told me this wasn't new, that she'd known for years. She explained that keeping up appearances was more important than confronting him about it. She said it was better for the family if no one knew. My perfect Christmas card family had been fake all along. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to scream at her, ask her how she could just let this happen, but I didn't. She looked so calm and detached, like this was just another problem she could ignore. She told me not to let it ruin Christmas and that we should focus on keeping things normal. But nothing about this was normal. The next day at school, everyone was talking about it. People whispered in the hallways and stared at me. Some of my friends tried to act supportive, but I could tell they didn't know what to say. One of them even joked that it made sense because my dad was always traveling. I couldn't eat lunch that day because my stomach felt like it was tying itself in knots. Then the family drama really exploded. My dad came home a few nights later, and I guess the whole thing at work had gotten out of hand. He didn't deny anything when I confronted him. Instead, he said he was handling it and that I shouldn't be worrying about adult problems. I couldn't believe how casual he was about it. He told me he still loved me and that nothing has to change, but how could he even say that? Everything had already changed. The worst part is the way he and my mom are still pretending everything is fine. They threw this huge Christmas Eve dinner for all their friends and acted like nothing was wrong. My mom wore her favorite red dress and laughed with her friends about holiday shopping, while my dad toasted to family and the holiday spirit. I sat there the whole time, barely able to eat, because I felt like I was living in some twisted version of reality. The only person I've been able to talk to about this is my aunt, my mom's sister. She's always been the one I can go to when things get too much. I told her everything, and she told me I could come stay with her anytime I needed to get away. I want to take her up on it, but there's a problem. My dad controls my college fund. I've been working so hard to get into a good school, and the idea that he could cut me off if I leave or make him mad is terrifying. I don't know if he would actually do it, but the risk is there. My mom keeps telling me to play nice and not to ruin things for myself, but how can I sit in this house and pretend everything's okay? I feel trapped. I don't want to stay here, but I also don't want to ruin my future. Part of me feels like I'm being selfish, but the other part of me feels like I can't keep living in this lie. I don't even know how I'll make it through the rest of the school year with everyone talking about my family. Christmas morning was awkward. We opened presents like we always do, but no one was really talking. My mom gave me some expensive perfume and said it was from both of them, but it just felt hollow. My dad barely looked at me, and my little brother kept asking why everyone seemed so weird. I don't think he fully understands what's going on yet. I don't know what to do. I want to run to my aunt's house and never look back, but I'm scared of making the wrong move. Part of me wonders if I should just suck it up for a couple more years until I'm in college and out of here. I hate feeling like I'm stuck between keeping up the lie and risking my future. So, that's what ruined Christmas this year. My perfect family turned out to be anything but, and now I'm left trying to figure out what comes next. If anyone's been through something like this, I'd really appreciate any advice.